While I test the connections, please stay tuned, guys. We're about to begin the chat with mental health entrepreneur, none other than Prakriti Poddar. She shall join us in at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, I am testing our connections for today, making sure that we have clear network throughout the entire live chat. Hi, Nikita. I can see you there. Hey, Umang. Good to see you. Hi, Akash. Welcome aboard, guys. Welcome to the 4th episode of Quarantine Life with Jailam. I am Jailam Dalvi, director, creator, curator, Jailam, the multi-designer stores. And today I have somebody really special aboard this live chat. I'm really delighted to have her aboard. And she's none other than Prakriti Poddar. She's a mental health entrepreneur. And of course, not to mention, she's a managing trustee of the Poddar Foundation. She has been working in the mental health awareness field since 1999. We're waiting for her to now join in the chat. Guys, please keep all your questions related to mental health ready. She's one of the very few mental health entrepreneurs of our country who in fact leads the topics when it comes to anything to do with mental health in our country. I'm waiting for her to join the chat.
Hi.
Hey, Prakriti. Hi.
How are you?
Very well. So good to see you.
You too.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So, finally, we have aboard Prakriti Poddar, the very renowned mental health entrepreneur and the managing trustee of the Poddar Foundation. I'm so delighted to do this with you. I never thought that this was going to happen, but I think it's the quarantine period that has led to this. I'm very excited.
100%.
Yeah,
Thank you
I'm
for having
very
me.
excited. Thank you for agreeing to be on board with us today. Um, so tell us how the term mental health entrepreneur is accepted in India. What is it like?
So there is, I think this is a term that it really belongs to me. I don't know if anybody else really uses it. But
Absolutely. That's what I
I
thought.
started,
Yeah.
yeah, I started the journey in mental health in 2000 and
Okay.
in Canada. And I started a company there called Mind Over Image Consulting. And the keynote was, it's not a makeover, it's a mind over. I was
Right.
always interested in fashion and design and also mental health. And I realized that you can't feel good just by looking good. It has to be internal. So I started, I'm actually a certified image consultant as well. But I really married the two and decided that there has to be a way in which to make sure people understand the value of a well-being or feeling well inside. And
Correct.
therefore, that's what the company was, and that's how it initiated. Then, of course, you're
Right.
asking me about India. I came back to India
Mm-hmm.
with this company and expected to do the same thing. But people didn't understand mental health. This is in 2002, 2003. People didn't understand what mental health was in the sense of what this really meant. So,
Hey, Prakriti, welcome back to our chat. So
hi.
sorry, I seem to have had some kind of a drop off in network. Um, so yeah, you were on the first and the most important topic of mental health entrepreneur in India. How the term was accepted, and
Yeah.
probably you're one of the only people I've ever heard using this term for themselves, which is amazing. So tell us about that.
So everything that I've done and everything that I did post setting it up in Canada and coming back here, I was literally coming back on a holiday, and then happened to meet my husband. So I decided to get married, and then I was here. So I had to bring the company back as well. They didn't understand the concept of mind over image consulting, and it actually transformed itself very quickly into leadership development and really coaching. So what now they have as a term of life coaches, that's what we started to do at that point.
Correct.
And even HR development and training was more like leadership development, understanding yourself from inside, and then kind of growing your own skills and talents to be able to function appropriately in this
Correct.
setting. And of
Correct.
course, being a certified practitioner of a lot of different practices in terms of counseling, NLP, hypnotherapy, different types of therapies, CBT, all this kind of stuff, I had the skills that it takes to make sure that people understand how to get to their well-being. Um,
Correct.
so what happened next was I had a center and I
Right.
started to hire people who are clinical psychologists,
Right.
and also with a team of psychiatrists that I could send them on to if needed. We started to just take in clients and patients. So that's what I developed. I developed a boutique mental health clinic.
Right.
It services people. I also am certified in neuro feedback, which is a new EEG biofeedback technology that really is very similar to putting you on a treadmill for your
Right.
brain. It
Right.
enhances your brain. It makes you extremely mobile in your head, makes you like quick, you know.
Right.
And a lot of experts across the world use this platform, right?
Right.
They make sure that they make sure that they use it every morning, but this is not really understood again in India, right? So it's
Right.
very slow to pick up, but it's super effective. I mean, when I was studying it, you had to try it on yourself, and literally, I tried it for 7 days because I was there in that coaching for 7 days. And I
Mm-hmm.
kid you not, I was so tired to do the test. After 7 days, you're in LA, you're like, studying, you're partying. And then they said, oh, there's another test you have to do. And I was like, oh, no, I can't do the test. I'm so tired. I'm jet lagged. I'm tired. Any excuse in the book, And then they said, no, but please do the test. And I did the test. And I was so slow because it's a quick test, which actually measures the way in which your brain is functioning. I was so slow when the
Hey,
results
Shraddha.
came out. When the results came out, she was like, how did you get these results? I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, this is out of the box. It's so good. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I was so slow. And that's when I realized my brain had, the speed, processing power had increased so much just being on that everything else slowed down. And
Wow.
so this entrepreneur that I am in mental health requires me to do it in every sphere. So then I started Podar Wellness with my husband because I needed to
Right.
scale up the practice, make it more technology based, make sure that well-being became a function that we could bring to people's doorsteps, like bespoke services, by actually aligning who they are and what they need, and then kind of building them up from a mind, body, spirit angle.
Correct, correct. All right. Tell me one thing further to add to this. You always say, I've always heard you saying, and you always say, it's not a makeover, it's a mind over. So,
Yeah.
throw some light into this line. What do you actually mean by this phrase? I don't think most of us even understand any of that, and we hardly even pay attention to it, even if we've heard
Yeah.
it. So, throw some light. Tell us what this really means.
I find that people are so caught up these days on the external facade, how they look. And, with Instagram and social media, what a
Absolutely.
big, it's peer pressure. It's a big it's a good big measurement for us to reach to. But it
Right,
takes away, it's a 2D impression of you. It takes away the 4D,
right,
there is
right.
so much more to an individual. And
Absolutely.
I want to focus on that aspect. And when you are feeling great inside, there is nothing in the world that can actually stop you from glowing. You
Right.
have to look good because you're feeling good. And then, of course, we can do wardrobe analysis, and we can do like clothing, and we can come to you because you're an expert in this, and, bring our people to you and say, hey, can you dress them up? Let them feel good because they're already feeling good. The other thing I
Right.
want to bring to light, not only from this point of view of like be all cool and savvy and all, but the other point is women used to come to me for makeovers and feel
Okay.
threatened and uncomfortable to go back home because their husbands would kind of resist the change and wonder why they're actually, not focusing on themselves, and, latently put this impression of, do you have a boyfriend that you're suddenly like changing and this attitude? And, they do this all the time. It's really crazy. I know, it's not
Are you
funny.
serious?
Yeah, because the moment a change happens, radars go up, right? Why is this change happen? What's propelled this
Right.
change? Why is this person
Right.
suddenly, putting, arming on this new outfit and avatar as an internal avatar and external? You stop
Excellent.
when you feel good. You stop putting up with people's rubbish,
Right.
and when you stop
Right.
putting up
Right.
with people's rubbish, you somehow change the formula. So it's a mind over that really takes place, and then of
Takes
course
place.
your clothes, pronounce that.
I remember one of my sessions with you in December, one of my personal sessions, where I remember I walked out of the room and suddenly I felt like, you know, how one of my favoriteest movies, Jab We Met, very funny incident, you know, how he walks out and he's met this girl, Geet. He walks out and he suddenly has this whole transformation. He walks out, every single thing looks as if it's already done,
Yeah,
it's on the table, everything is ready. Trust me, I
amazing.
got out that day, that one of those days in December, and my work felt like, oh my god, I just achieved everything. Like I'd sorted this, I'd sorted that, my this department
Yeah,
done, that department done. Suddenly everything magic. You're right, it actually felt like that. So I
yeah,
can totally understand and imagine what
yeah.
you're saying. Now tell us, as a managing trustee of the Podar Foundation, you must be having a huge responsibility on your shoulders to, you know,
It
handle
is.
that. How do you handle
It
that?
is.
Like,
So
you know,
it's a
what kind of a
passion.
responsibility is that?
It's a
What is
passion.
expected out of you?
So mental health is a passion of mine, and I find that it's always a second or a step rather to physical health, and I feel that that is unfair. It is unfair because mental health is very important
Right.
and more important than physical health because it's the dis-ease that starts in your mind that can progress and convert into a disease in the body. So when I didn't start Podar Foundation's been in the family since '83. I
Okay.
became the managing trustee, and instead of it being focused on education and focus on arts, I decided that I wanted to focus it on mental health. And luckily I didn't have much resistance.
Correct.
And when I started, it was all about awareness, and we started with obesity, and it was really funny because people didn't understand that obesity is a mental health concern. People think
Right.
obesity is about diet and food, but it's not. It's your relationship with the food, which is a mental health concern. And therefore, obesity, bulimia, anorexia are all mental health issues.
Right.
And
Right.
then because they're addictions, or they're all addictions.
Wow,
And
that's something I've learned now because I've never thought of it from that angle. It's
yeah,
something what I realized today. Okay. All right.
yeah, people
Okay.
have a relationship with food, and that relationship is
Right.
important. Like when you're told when you're younger that eat more, eat more. You don't know, you're not full. Eat more. You develop this understanding of I don't know myself, and now if I eat, I feel better. So if your mother's giving you food because she loves you, or she's giving you chocolates when you do something good, that connection is like I feel good, so I eat sweets. And then
Right.
whenever you feel sad or whenever you feel bad, I'm simplifying it obviously, but
Right.
whenever you feel bad, you take to something that is, you nurture your spirit by eating something sweet, right?
Right.
And it's a
Right.
connection.
That's
Anyway, so we started with that, but then we realized very quickly that that was just very slow. Let's do mental health awareness in a larger way because that is so fine tuned that people are not going to get it. So we started to do general mental health awareness with schools, with corporates, with NGOs, with self-help groups, with women's groups, with sort of the entire community, online, offline, everything was just mental health
correct.
awareness. And there were events. I'm working really hard on ensuring that mental health gets insured because currently the insurance is only for people who get hospitalized. Mental health,
Right.
only 2% of people need the hospitalization. The rest of the people don't need any hospitalization. So how can we limit mental health insurance to only somebody that gets hospitalized? So we've written a white
Correct.
paper about this. We're doing a lot of work. So this is my baby. Okay, I have three
Right.
children of my own, but I have three practices also, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
literally have six babies at this point, right? And one of the things I've developed recently, just as a response to COVID, through the foundation and through my alliance with Rotary Club, is the Wellbeing Volunteers United. And it's brought together 600 plus now, 600 I checked
Right.
last week, volunteers who want to give back to society. And it's a collective. So everybody is as important. It's not owned by me. It's an initiative that's really brought people together. And
Correct.
the human spirit at this time when things are going bad is
Right.
incredible. Everybody wants to help, everybody wants to support, and you realize that the mental health of people is a spectrum. And this particular situation shows you whether a person wants to fight or really needs to flight or freeze. And when people are fighting, they're willing to give back. They want to come and share. They want to give back to society. They want to help and aid. And that's the crusaders I have with me right now. Whereas
Absolutely.
we're upholding these other people who lost the will to fight, and it's intense, and it's
Absolutely.
not going to stop like on the 3rd of May.
Correct.
It's going to
Correct.
carry on.
Correct.
It's going
Its
to carry
impact
on
is
for
going to
another
be much longer. True.
100%. And it's acute trauma right now, maybe, but post-acute trauma is as strong. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or like you see corporate giants who or even like if you have an SME who are going through a struggle, because it
Right.
is a struggle, and
Right.
it isn't easy. It's unprecedented. We don't even know what, what's out there and what we need to do and how we need to hold ourselves. So I think, it's a lot of new things being thrown out, and it's unfortunately the silver lining is that people are talking about mental health now, and somebody who's an entrepreneur in it like I am has got a
Right.
space to voice this a little bit louder, to tell you to listen, take care of your mental health, because it's the only thing that will uphold you in times like this or in any
True.
circumstances. In your
True.
relationships, we've had people like complaining about relationships and violence and, all kinds of things due to this COVID. Like, not everybody has space. I've
Right.
had people who've called
Absolutely.
in to say, this is lockdown has really taken away anything that belonged to me. Like, there's no space.
Yes.
So, but I don't want to go into the issues. Let's keep it like flowing to
Right.
something better. But
Right. Right.
it's not
That,
easy.
I've also heard of something called as your campaign, which says Silence Todo. What does that? What work are you doing under that? What does that really mean? Tell us more about that.
So
I think it's very interesting. Yeah.
wherever I go, I make people say, silence Toro, zor se bolo. Because when you
Right.
keep something inside of you, it
Correct.
festers. It creates more illness. And so therefore, one of the key things for any mental health, now we're talking about not mental health illnesses, we're talking about mental health distress, mental health emotional distress. If you keep
Correct.
it in, it grows into something that is paramount and consumes you. So it's
Correct.
extremely important that you come and speak about it. And I'm not talking about speak to a friend. I'm not talking about speak to a family member. I'm talking about go to a specialist. Go to somebody who's trained to really listen. Because when I'm talking to a friend, say I'm
Correct.
talking to you, Taylor, I'm talking to you, my friend, I'm having a conversation and I'm saying, hey, like I've had a really hard day. And you're like, yeah, it's been a terrible day. And you're
Right.
resonating with me, but you're talking about yourself. And then I try to talk about myself again. Where in a counseling session, you'll say, hey, I'm really going through a hard day and it's really difficult. And I'll be like, yeah, it's a difficult time. I totally understand. What are you really going through? And I'll start eliciting, what are you going through? And the,
What
the, the
really?
mirror is
Right.
on you.
Right.
And nobody's
Correct.
trained to do this except for a therapist, right?
Absolutely.
It's important to go
Absolutely.
to a therapist. It's important to go to somebody who understands how to keep the mirror on you and how to help you find the skills that you need to get
Correct.
your strength back. Otherwise, I'm an advisor, and friends are great advisors, and families are great advisors. But you don't need
Right.
advice. You need to find that strength within yourself that will pull you up and will help you build your strength. And that
Correct.
is what Silence Toro does. Because you
Right.
are breaking your silence. There's no shame, because everybody goes through things. There is
Right.
no shame.
Absolutely.
There is no stigma. You have a right to express yourself, and it is correct in your perception, and it is correct in your world. And the only way that you can help yourself is by bringing it up with somebody who's trained to help you see the rationality and to help you see your strength in it, so that it can build you towards where you need to go, so that it
Correct.
doesn't bother you anymore. Therefore,
Got it.
silence over is the first step.
Right. Right.
So
Absolutely. I
kids,
think. I think.
kids who go through abuse, we tell them the same thing. Silence Toro. And we give them a safe place to come and talk about incest, troubles, abuse. We give them a safe place. Of course, we take
Right.
this very seriously, because they're at risk if they actually open their mouth as well. So we have to make sure that it's done very sensitively. Or even violence towards women, even though we say silence Toro, we got to make sure it's very sensitive, because violence gets aggravated when husbands realize that people are like wives are actually talking about it. It can be the other way around also, but primarily we talk about abuse towards women and children.
Towards women. Right. You also mentioned something to do with insurance. So, I want to know worldwide, does something like mental health insurance exist, and how is India, reacting towards your recommendations towards having mental health insurance on board? So,
So
what is it like?
mental health insurance is mandated by the government.
Okay.
It is not something that I am bringing in. It is something that's been mandated. Unfortunately, it hasn't taken root, because nobody knows how to do it. In the
Got
sense
it.
of what can they insure? So, say for example, God forbid,
Exactly.
somebody has cancer. There's a cancer payout, so the person
Right.
gets money and they can go and do their sort of treatments. In mental
Correct.
health insurance, the person who's mentally distressed may or may not have the faculties in place to be able to use the finances well. So
Okay.
then money can go to the family. Now you don't know whether
Right.
the family will actually use that money for the person. So we have to think of other strategies. You know what I'm
So
saying? It's
basically,
not.
there's no way to determine where that money is going to get channelized. Where is it actually going to go to? That
It's
is
troublesome, but what I'm trying to do also with a platform such as mine, and maybe other people can also get involved, is to really call out the RCI registered therapists, the all the psychiatrists, put them on one platform, and pay. The insurance can pay directly to those certified people. So if you
got it.
have a platform where you have these people who are certified, then of course, just based on where and how these people are situated. And by the way, there are guidelines now for telemedicine, telemental health. And
Okay.
if that happens, and insurance can be routed through that, I think India, because right now it's 1 in 4 people have mental illness at some point in their lives, and I really think that that's a miscalculation. It has to be 1 in 3 at least. I think that if that happened and telemental health was also considered, acceptable,
Right.
especially with trained therapists, I think we would solve a lot of India's problems.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Also, now tell us something about how do you provide your services via Mind Over Image to startups? Like, how do you, how do you kind of handheld startups through this process? Like, how do you do it?
So, Mind Over Image is a branch, or is just under the umbrella of Podar Wellness.
Okay.
And so, what we do there is, depending on what, first we generally do a needs analysis for any company.
Oh,
So, if a company calls me and says, hey, I'm having a little bit of trouble, what can we do? We do a needs analysis of the company and of the CEO. Marry the CEO's vision to what he wants the company to be like. Then we start
okay.
talking to the employees and kind of figure out, where they're at. Not only in this psychosocial behavior, but also their occupational behavior. And then
Right.
we start building bridges. It's very customized, but we also have a platform on Podar Wellness, which is a very it's an app-based protocol. So you have a personal body, which is you in relation to yourself. This is all
Got it.
online. You in relationship to others in companies. We have protocols of the Power series, the Self series. We have protocols that they can kind of do. These are courses and webinars. And once
Right.
they actually do these courses and webinars, it's very successfully. We document how effective it's been for them, and then we move them further up the chain. And of course, right now we're only doing webinars. And because of the Zoom getting into litigation, we're kind of now trying to switch over to another platform,
Right. Right.
or we ensure that this platform is safe and not open to other people.
Yeah,
But
with the
that's
kind
really
of
what we do.
messages we got last night, it was pretty scary. With Zoom, the kind of messages that were floating all over last night. Even in fact, even I was wondering how the seminar today was going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, till the time I
No, we
received
had to
your
change it. We had to change it because we had the
yeah.
state mental health authorities involved, and that is
Oh,
government official. So we
right.
had to.
Right. Right. So it has been said that you created the blueprint of the peace programs that over 6,000 students have undertaken.
Oh yeah.
Give us some
How do you
insight
know
into
that?
that.
Where was that
Yeah,
written?
give us. We've read up about you, and I'm very, very interested in knowing about this. So tell us how it really affected the lives of so many students. What did you really do there?
So, I just built the program. Honestly, the mandate was given to me by a university, which is quite forward thinking in Pune, who
Okay.
said that listen, and his father actually wanted to do this and has wanted to do
Which
this for 40
university is
years.
this? If you can.
MIT, WPU.
Oh,
MIT changed its name to World Peace University after the program was installed. So they've
okay.
actually,
Wonderful.
and every student has to go through the program. It was a 150-hour program that
Okay.
at first I built out. And then
Okay.
a team of faculties from the university came together to help flourish this. So the whole idea was first understand what communication is, because counseling communication is the most important way. Because when you learn empathetic communication, you are more likely to build solutions that can aid communities versus building solutions that do not aid communities. Correct?
Right.
So we
Right.
wanted to make sure that every student was a thinking person, was not, and it really brought to light that most of these children really were doing something that they did not know was their interest. Like their families pushed them into engineering or pushed them into like the local like basic stuff, and
Correct.
they really
Correct.
weren't that interested in it. And so
Okay.
them to find a life purpose through that was really quite difficult. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
going back to the program really brings together our ancient spiritual lessons and wisdom, and puts it into contemporary day solutions for children to kind of go through. it is about really, and they have meditation and mindfulness sessions throughout the school university day. They have yoga, they have all these other things that they also do. But the program was really indigenous wisdom being made into contemporary day studies and integrating it into the schoolwork so that they could build solutions from this. There's a platform where they can actually communicate with each other as well. They have entrepreneurship. They can build systems together. So say, for example, if there's somebody in the pharmaceutical department and there's somebody in the engineering department, they can come together to build solutions. So the idea was, how do you start to think about what other people are doing as well and bringing that together? And the first year, of course, 3,000 kids went through it. And then the second year, 3,000 more have gone through it. So a lot of children have gone through the program. The impact would just be that they're more thinking and more rational and more empathetic and are looking towards giving back to society in some way rather than just taking and depleting and using, because this whole attitude of consumerism is something that I believe strongly that we need to change. And in fact, I think that this COVID has really taught us that,
Absolutely.
It's like one of the silver linings, we're not, we've come back to earth,
To earth.
and we're not, so I mean, we were hoping that the program would teach the kids the same thing.
Same thing. Wonderful. So now to some fun questions. What is your mantra to stay fit during quarantine? What are you doing to stay fit?
I'm biking. I cycle for about an hour. But I'm in Alibag. So early in the morning, I wear my mask and I wear my glasses and I go out to bike because I can't do anything in the day. I mean, if it's after 6, 7 o'clock, like I cannot go to the gym because I have a very strict routine. It's probably
so what time do you start? What time do you start cycling at like?
So 6:30. I get out at 6:30. By 7:30, I'm back. But we have a trampoline here, so the kids force me to get on the trampoline with them, so I'm jumping around like in the day at about 5:30 with like a spray of like mosquito spray and all that, and it's quite intense, that jumping around a trampoline, not easy.
Not easy.
Especially 3 kids, you're not trying to trample, it's not easy. But I definitely I'm not overeating. I'm making sure I'm watching my diet. Because I don't have access to my gym and I generally do weights and I'm very, you know me. I mean, you've met me. I'm very focused, I can't let go of the time and I want to work out every day and I, 6 days a week I work out. So this is like a break from that. But I'm doing cardio. I'm definitely not eating badly at all. So that's my mantra.
And what's the first thing you will do post-quarantine? We want to know that. What's the absolute first thing that you're going to do immediately post-quarantine? Are you going to continue living in Alibag for longer?
I'm staying in Alibag till at least the 21st of May. That's for sure.
Okay, so I get to see you only in June, probably.
Probably. And the moment I come back, I'm going to go to Starbucks and have myself a nice cortado. I'm going to sit there and just have my cortado for a bit. I'm still a very simple person, right? So I do not have like extravagant needs. I want to have my cortado alone. Alone is very... I do not want any company. I know this quarantine is supposed to make you isolated. It's done the opposite for all of us who have large families, right?
Absolutely.
I need alone time. 1 minute of alone time with my coffee. That's it.
Anything else you would like to tell our viewers during this quarantine period? How to stay mentally healthy, not be negative, considering the current time and what's going to come in future post the quarantine phase. So
I love this question.
What is your suggestion?
Jailam, this is a fantastic question. One of the main things is you can't change what is happening. You can't change it. So stop fighting it. Go with the flow. Start to focus on your own well-being. Maybe this is a chance for you to do that. Focus on your own inner well-being. Focus on your, do planks. You don't need that much space. To sit, like almost imagine that you're sitting around, like sitting on a chair against the wall. So you can build your quads. You can build your abs. This reminds me of... I think there was a movie I once saw where the person was constricted to one room and he really built himself up. And what was it? I don't remember. I think Sunny Dutt was... No, Sunny Deol was in it. I think it's like one of those old movies, like he just kept working out in this jail. I kind of feel like... I think that, utilize that time because, I was talking to somebody else. He was at home. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, oh, jharu pocha. So I'm like, jharu pocha? He goes, yeah, because I can't get the staff in and this area. So I'm like, well, that's like something else, man. But you know what? The connection that you can build now with your family, with your kids that you didn't do because you're a working person is so much more. I mean, I think really
I
take time,
have
and
been
that's the
feeding my baby twice a day. I mean, she's 4.5, but lunch and dinner she's only having with me, period, which I haven't been able to do for the last 3 years, probably. So I'm
wow,
delighted,
yeah.
actually. I think making the most of this time. Seriously, I mean,
Amazing.
like I got married about 8 years ago, so I'm spending the most amazing time with my parents back again. Luckily, they are also here. We're all quarantined here at the foothills of these Amboli Hills, so we're very happy all together. I mean, yeah, we
Yeah.
do get onto each other's nerves at a point, but then we go back to realizing that we are better safe in here than getting
Yeah.
outside the gate. So yeah,
100%.
it's been a
Yeah.
crazy time. I
Yeah.
mean, so unprecedented, so unexpected. I mean, nothing beats this COVID, I
No,
feel.
no.
Seriously.
It's like
Yeah,
going all the way back to square one and then building yourself.
building yourself back again. But thank you
Yeah.
so much, Prakriti. It was absolutely a pleasure to have you aboard, chat with you, this evening about everything to do with mental health. You've thrown light upon so many points. I think we're going to take back a lot today. Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for having me, Jalem.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Be
We'll see you
safe.
soon.
Bye,
Bye.
viewers.
Bye.
See you.
Bye. Thank you.